Hi kids, today I am here to tell you about the frequently asked questions regarding your term 2 history chapter. Well, you all know that in term 2 you're just getting one chapter in history, and that is Nationalism in India. This is the only chapter that is coming in term 2 for as far as your history topic is concerned. And this is for 10 marks. If we talk about economics, political science or geography, there has been a reduction in the syllabus, but still there are more than one chapter that is coming. So here just one topic, and that is also for 10 marks. Now students, I am going to tell you the frequently asked questions. Now, this is obviously the pattern of the paper is new, but still we can be assured that there is a great chance of few questions that can be asked during this term 2 examination of CBSE. Usually, the board has always conducted a subjective paper. Here I am going to talk about the trend. But before that, children, I really want you to like and subscribe my channel and also hit that bell icon for notifications. Now, coming to the topic, coming to our session, इस time जो board exam है, pattern definitely new है, but subjective questions तो pattern हमेशा से रहा है. Paper का pattern marking scheme ज़रूर change हो चुकी है, but subjective questions नए नहीं हैं CBSE के लिए. So coming to this, if you see, then out of the 40 marks, 10 marks which is there for history, we can be very sure that certain questions are most likely to come from this chapter in this upcoming board examination. Why? Because अगर हम पिछले 5 years या 10 years तक की अगर हम question bank check करते हैं CBSE का, सो कुछ क्वेश्चंस जो इस चैप्टर से रिपीटेडली पूछे गए हैं या शॉर्ट रहे हैं, या हम देखते हैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस जो काफ़ी बार आ चुके हैं, मे बी 3 बार, 4 बार, 2 बार. सो उन क्वेश्चंस को मैं यहाँ पर लेकर आई. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि डेफिनेटली क्वेश्चंस तो हमें सारे पढ़ने हैं, टॉपिक हमें पूरा पढ़ना है, बट कुछ ऐसे क्वेश्चंस जिन पे हम मान सकते हैं कि इनमें से कोई क्वेश्चन तो ज़रूर ही रिपीट होगा आपके इस साल के बोर्ड के पेपर में. सो I am going to talk about those questions which are most likely, or we can say that can be largely expected in the term 2 examination from your history topic, Nationalism in India. So let us start, children. Yes, so we are talking about history, and since you're just getting one chapter, so we are just looking at the questions from those particular chapter. Now, where I am saying that these are the frequently asked questions, so definitely they are important. There is a huge chance, or we could say that most likely we can see that some of the questions might get repeated in your examination this year. But definitely it's not like that only these questions will be coming for your exams. There are different questions, and we all know there is no end to questions. But these are the most probable questions looking at the pattern of the previous year question papers. So, the first question here is, why was non-cooperation movement started in 1920? Why did Gandhiji called it off in 1922? Now here I am going to give you just little hints so that you frame your answer in a proper way. Now the question here is asking about that why was this non-cooperation movement started, and when did Gandhiji called it off, and why did Gandhiji called it off in 1922? So this movement was started by Gandhiji because he was looking for an opportunity to unite the Hindus and Muslims, and because of the Khilafat issue, he got this opportunity, he got the cooperation and the unity of Hindu and Muslim community, and therefore we see this non-cooperation movement had started. However, it was called off in 1922 because of the violence, because of the violence, physical violence that was there, and how, you know, common people kind of attacked the police station and even killed a few policemen at Chauri Chaura. Now again, most part of the answer I am going to give you away here, but you need to build it as per the marks indicated next to the question. Such questions could be asked as a long answer type. You can't expect such questions as a 1 marker. Now, next is, what was the impact of the First World War on India? Now, the impact of the First World War on India. What was the impact? Well, we could see that there was forced recruitment. People and peasants and everyone were forced to go and fight wars. Then a large number of people were killed. Then the prices of basic commodities increased sharply. And then we also saw that how, you know, the expenditure, the financial condition of the country became very bad. There was new taxes, custom duties, custom taxes that were being levied upon common people here. Then another question, most likely, why did non-cooperation movement slow down in cities? Explain any 2 reasons. So non-cooperation movement had slowed down in cities because we see that, like people had decided that, okay, we will be boycotting the foreign goods, and they started, they were, influenced, and they were kind of motivated to buy the indigenous product. However, the khadi cloth that was indigenous, that was, pretty expensive, and it was not affordable to everyone. So eventually people started turning towards the machine-made goods that were produced by the Britishers. That is one. Second, many people at that time, when this movement had started, they boycotted the British offices, institutions, colleges, universities. But now, since at that time in India there were not sufficient alternatives for them, so people had to get back to where they were working. Next question. Why did Gandhiji launch the civil disobedience movement? Explain any 3 reasons. So, Gandhiji had launched the civil disobedience movement because, he had written a letter to Lord Irwin stating few demands, and he had given an ultimatum that if by so and so date these demands will not be fulfilled, then he will be starting a civil disobedience movement. And since Lord Irwin had not taken his demand, his letter seriously, he kind of neglected it, ignored it. So Gandhiji started with his salt march, where he actually walked down from his ashram in Sabarmati to the Dandi, that is to the place called Dandi, which is a coastal city in Gujarat. And there he broke the salt law. He manufactured salt by boiling the seawater. Now, why did Mahatma Gandhi find in salt a powerful symbol that could unite the nation? Explain. So Mahatma Gandhi found in salt a powerful symbol that could unite the nation because salt is a commodity. Salt was a commodity, and salt is even a commodity at present that is being used by one and all. Be a person, be rich or a poor person, everyone uses salt. So it is a basic commodity, and Gandhiji felt that, if tax and monopoly is there on such a basic commodity, then it is a very, very humiliating, it is very, very cruel and harsh. So he had written in his letter to Lord Irwin to, actually abolish this salt tax and abolish the monopoly of Britishers for the production of salt. But since he neglected that demand, he ignored that demand, so Gandhiji started with this movement. He went to Dandi, and there he himself broke the salt law by manufacturing salt. And therefore we see that at this point, many people, of India, they came together. So salt basically led to the unity amongst people at that time. So more probable questions. Gandhiji's idea of Satyagraha emphasized on the power of truth and the need to search for truth. In this light of the statement, assess the contribution of Gandhiji towards Satyagraha. So basically here you have to talk about Satyagraha, that how Gandhiji said that, by Satyagraha means the power of truth. and how, a person should always be following the truth. And if there is a person who is doing something wrong or has done something wrong, then the duty of the other person is to make him realize, not to force him to accept the truth, but to make sure that there is a path that he should travel on, and the person himself is going to realize the truth, and ultimately it is the truth that wins. So the power of truth. Also, all this should happen in a very, very peaceful manner, and not by indulging into any sort of aggressiveness or physical violence. So, and we see that how successfully, Gandhiji had successfully managed, or had successfully, had done these Satyagraha movements in Champaran, in Kheda and Gujarat. Next question. The civil disobedience movement was different from the non-cooperation movement. Support the statement with examples. Yes, there had been a difference between civil disobedience and non-cooperation. What were the differences? Well, non-cooperation started in 1921. Civil disobedience was started in 1930. In non-cooperation, we see that, mostly in towns and cities, both people had participated. Mostly villagers had been there. This movement was more strong in the rural countryside. Whereas if we talk about the civil disobedience movement, here we see that mostly we find industrialist and wealthy people taking part here, or giving their contribution here, supporting this movement. Then the non-cooperation movement was called off because of the Chauri Chaura incidents, and the civil disobedience movement was called off because of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. And also, one important thing, in non-cooperation movement, we see the unity of the Hindu and Muslim community. Whereas in case of civil disobedience, we see that many Muslim people, they were away. They kept themselves away from this movement, because they by that time had started feeling or thinking that the Congress party is now more inclined towards the Hindu ideology. And fifth, we see that women, they participated in large numbers in the civil disobedience movement, and this was not the case in case of the non-cooperation movement. So I stated some 5 differences between these two movements. Next question. Explain the major factors which promoted the sense of nationalism in India, in the Indians. So there are various factors that promoted the sense of nationalism. First, the cultural past, their identity, the patriotism, their shared, colonial history, and how, the culture played a very important role there. The folklore, the traditions, the songs, the flag, the hymns, everything played a very, very important role in uniting the people together. So, like I said, these were some of the questions, we could say these are mostly the frequently asked questions from this particular chapter that is coming in your term 2.